This is the BULLS Lacuba E45, and every time I say that I want to say Lacubra, but there's no R, just Lacuba. I'm not sure exactly what it means, but the 45 stands for 45 kilometers per hour, which makes this a speed pedelec. That's roughly 28 miles per hour for those of us that are hanging out in the United States using the Imperial system. And of course E, because it's electric. It's got the Bros perfectly integrated battery, love that, and the motor down here. And this is the 350 watt version. You may have heard of the Lacuba E8. There, I said bruh again. I reviewed that bike, and it's really cool. It has an 8-speed internally geared hub in the rear nexus with a belt drive, super quiet and clean. This one goes the other direction and gives you 20 gears and a high-speed motor. That other one's only 20 miles per hour. But they both have the same size battery pack, 37 volts, 17.5 amp hours, just enormous. So you should get great range. And then again, this one has the 350 watt nominal motor versus 250. It's pretty awesome. It's just it's a good system. I love that in this case they've got this sort of padded, I don't know, sticker, keeps the rocks and stuff from chipping your battery, or if you accidentally drop the battery, you want to be really careful when you're handling it. But it also has fenders, so you really shouldn't get a whole lot of debris up there. I love that it has these SKS plastic fenders front and rear, and you'll notice that this rack, it's an I-rack, so it's sort of this proprietary click-in system, sort of like Toe Peak has. They have their own accessories, but of course any generic pannier should clip to the side, and you've got these pannier blockers and kind of that loop so you can clip it on or use a trunk bag. Just really nice stuff. Because it's a speed pedelec, they have to have this plate, and it's even got a light built in, so you could put a license plate if you're in Europe. It's not a requirement in the United States. But then we've got these other, top light, line E brake. And then up here, I think it's just the Fushan. But they're both wired in, so they run off the main battery pack, which is great. You don't have to worry about them, replacing the batteries separately and everything. That's something I think about a lot when you're trying to get like a good commuter bike. It has all these accessories, but they're really fixed, that theft becomes less of an issue. And as far as the fenders with these nice support struts and then that rack, it's not going to rattle a whole lot, even at higher speeds. So that's awesome. And then this really minimalist, kind of a thin chain cover right there, plastic. There are the 2 sprockets up front, decent FSA cranks, and then again, decent Welgo pedals. Kind of a neat design. They don't have the metal nubs or anything. They have a little bit of rubberized grip on top, but otherwise they're good. They're bigger. I like these more than the cage style pedals that I see on some other bikes. And then Shimano Deore XT component group. So derailleur back here for those 10 sprockets. Derailleur up there. Again, Deore XT. Trigger shifters on both sides. Deore XT. Nice stuff. This is stuff that should last. Even the bell, you can see it's a little bit kind of upgraded. It's still a flick bell, easy to access and stuff, but it's got the plastic surrounding, just a little bit nicer. Ergon GC1 locking grips, really comfortable. Comfort's a big deal when you're going faster. So it's great that they've got the Suntour fork. This does seem more like a coil fork, not an air fork. And when I was weighing the bike earlier, this is it's like 61.5 pounds. That's kind of a lot. This stuff adds up, but considering that the Lacuba E8, the other one we were talking about, the one with the 20 mile per hour top speed, it's $4,099. This one's $4,699. So that $600 extra gets you the speed and everything, but it also increased that weight. I think it went up like 4 or 5 pounds. It kind of surprised me. I'm looking at 2 different sizes and 2 different frames. This is a 48. It comes in 5 different sizes, and it comes in this cool kind of like a mid-step design is what I'd call it, as well as a traditional diamond or high step frame. So if you're someone who's carrying a lot of gear and stuff and you don't want to hit your legs swinging it over, then this might be a good option. And you probably just heard the kickstand flop up. I really dislike this kickstand. This is the heavy, like automatic spring, speed pedelec European kickstand. I've seen this on Stromers and some other bikes, and it's just really annoying because the bike has to be just barely positioned just right, and if you bump it a little bit, that kickstand flops up and the whole bike falls down, and it's just a bother. So I think some of the companies are moving away from that, thankfully. So the braking technology here, Tektro Dorado. We've got awesome 203 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes, front and rear. That's plenty of stopping power. Nice considering how fast this bike can go. Other nice features, upgraded Celi Royale saddle, 31.6 millimeter ErgoTech seat post. So that's slightly larger on the E8 that we keep talking. I keep bringing that bike up because it's very similar. They're kind of like, which one would you choose? And for a lot of people, it's going to come down to, do you want the high speed or not? But that one had a narrower seat post as well. So if you're someone who's heavier and expect to be adding extra weight on the system, then this has a larger seat post. You could always add a thud buster or a body float, and it would complement that front suspension, which, by the way, has lockout and I believe preload adjust on the other side. So it's, as far as spring suspensions go, it's not bad. And then the tires on this is Schwalbe Energizer Plus. These are kind of like e-bike specific. It's got Performance Line green guard, so they're maybe not going to get as many punctures and stuff. They're a little more durable, maybe kind of a liner on the inside, and then it's got the reflective sidewall. So in addition to those lights I kept applauding earlier, you're going to have nice side visibility, and I really like that. And then the rating on these are 28 by 1.75. So 1.75 being a little bit fatter, it's not super narrow like a road bike, and that's going to add some comfort too. And then look at this. Bottle cage bosses. 2 bottle cage bosses. That's awesome. And I think they've chosen not to put one up here because it gets in your way of stepping through. I just love that they have one down here as well. It's wonderful. So I think that's a pretty good kind of a general look at the bike. I wanted to call out the battery pack again. It can be charged on or off the frame, and you can see this charger cover right here, and there it is, Energy Bus standard. It uses a magnetic plug. There's a BMZ battery cell group that's inside the pack and a BMZ charger, and that charger weighs about 2.5 pounds, a little bit bigger, but I love that it's got the Energy Bus standard because it's being magnetic. If you kick it or something, it just pops out. It doesn't pull the bike over quite as easily, except for that kickstand, which might, fall over. Here are the keys. You stick them in. This is going to be really hard to do because I'm alone and there's a kickstand there, but if I inserted them and twisted them, then I could, pull on this lever on the other side and the battery just kind of like comes out. Careful not to drop it at that phase. And then when you're done, you can kind of click it in at the top and then kunk, and it fits right in, and you lock that other piece down, and you actually have to turn and lock the battery with the keys again. You can pull the battery key out even if the battery's not locked. So don't forget to lock it and then make sure you pull that out, because the pedals pass right by that and they'll shear the key right off and break it. Sounds like that's happened a few times. It's just an area to be careful about, a little bit sensitive. Maybe in the future they'll put the keyhole somewhere else that's a little bit more removed. It'd be awesome if it was like right on top, because then it wouldn't matter. And then I wanted to call out, back to the comfort thing, low-rise handlebars, and then this ErgoTech 6 adjustable angle stem. I love that. That's nice. It brings the bars up a little bit. The ride on this is very comfortable. I'm not sure if this is the right size for me or not, but it feels like I'm upright. I don't have to lean far forward and potentially hurt my back. So that's always a plus, and that makes it almost more like a cruiser, kind of that relaxed body position. So I'm going to go ahead and hop on this thing and take you through some of the stats. Now that it's been turned on, I can go ahead and hit the power here, and it seems to work. But initially, to prime it or something, it's like I had to press down here. So there are times where it feels like it's a 2-step power process. Anyway, now that it's on, we've got the 5 battery bars up there. We've got our speed and a whole bunch of readouts down here that can be changed if you press that center button. So trip distance, trip calories, trip time, average speed, max speed, total distance, total time, time of day. Just goes on and on. And then on the sides here, we actually have power meters. So it shows how hard I'm working on the right. The little man's filled in, or the person, could be a woman. And on the left, the little wheels are filled in. So that's like the electronic drive system. So it tells you how hard it's working. It tells you how hard you're working. It's just really cool. And this display is backlit, and it's removable. And you can turn on the lighting by pressing another little button on the side there, and you can see the lights go on, and that activates the headlights and stuff. Just a really cool system. It's big, it's bright, but being able to take it off is going to help probably protect it if you're parking at a busy rack or just being in the sun a lot, avoid some of those scratches. So the pedal assist levels, there are 3 of them. You press this tactile button here and kind of boom, and it fills the first box. Boom, boom. And now that's it. I'm completely full, and it's going to take me up to 28 miles per hour if I pedal actively. The Bros Motor system is pretty cool. It senses your cadence and torque, so if I'm here and I'm putting torque on it, it's not gonna go because there's no movement, no pedal movement. But it's not like it's that delayed. It actually kicks in pretty quickly and then it winds down. It's one of the more quiet drive systems. There's actually gears in there, but then there's also some sort of a belt apparently, and it sort of dampens the vibration and makes it feel a little smoother. So it's becoming one of my favorite systems, but it doesn't have shift sensing. So considering all the gears that are on this bike, if you're pedaling and you're shifting and you're climbing like we're about to do, I'm in like Palos Verdes neighborhood of California, really nice, beautiful houses and stuff, but lots of hills. It's on the side of a kind of a mountain going towards the sea, or like a foothill. So you really start to appreciate the power of these bikes, but if you're shifting while you're using that power, it can bang the chain around and kind of strip some of the nubs off those sprockets. So keep that in mind. Back at the website, I've got more of the actual sizes and the chain ring tooth counts and stuff, so you can compare this to some of the other bikes. Hope that helps you out. I think we might be ready to go finally, right? Hop on the bike. Okay, I'm gonna switch this to maybe, I don't know, average speed. It's been 22.9 miles per hour. That's pretty cool. And I'm just gonna start pedaling. See, there's a little bit of a delay from when I stop pedaling to when the chainring stops spinning, but not bad. And it's really quiet right now because I'm in a higher gear. My cadence is low, but I climbed that hill no problem. And look, we're gonna go up that hill now. Brake's doing a good job. So, try to cross the street safely. Going about 15 miles per hour, still in a relatively high gear. Without that motor power, I'd be struggling. You can see over here, it shows that the motor's outputting a lot of power, and I'm struggling to keep up. I'm gonna go ahead and shift now. You might have heard that it was clicking a little bit when I did the shifting, but it worked fine, and now I'm at a more comfortable cadence. I'm up to like 13 miles per hour, and I'm climbing a big hill. Now that I'm spinning, let's get you close to the motor again. Yeah, so all in all, it's actually one of the more quiet drive systems I think I've tested, and I appreciate that. Really smooth, can even kind of get a little bit of a surge feeling, depending on how you pedal, but just a really good balance. I've complained about some other systems feeling like too much surge, or being too delayed, or, you really gotta think about these systems. I'm sure the engineers constantly fine-tuning it between how long do we offer motor power to make it smooth, but how quickly do we need to cut out so that people don't feel out of control. And this bike does have motor inhibitors on the brake levers. So I'm in a garage. You can see the backlighting here looks really nice. And then the headlight, super bright. I love that you can see it from the sides. It's kind of, it's minimal, it's tucked in, but you can adjust the angles. And I finally figured out one of the reasons that they have extra wiring or inhibitors on those levers is because when the lights are active, it goes bright in the rear. That's so cool. I'd mentioned it on the other one and I just sort of forgot, and I realize now that that's That's one of the cool features. And then there's that light for if you actually had a little license plate. Nice. Again, it's so cool, everything wired in that way. So anyway, I think that's about it. That's the Lacuba E45 from Bulls. Pretty awesome. For 600 more bucks, you get the speed pedelec, and you've still got all those different sizes and stuff. I really like that. It's nice to see something that's truly capable of replacing a car and being comfortable. So for the full write-up on this and all the specs and stuff, see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com. And of course, especially when riding fast, ride safe.